Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and today I've got an interesting XRP price prediction from an analyst utilizing TradingView. So I'm going to talk about it, but this individual thinks that there's real clear signs that XRP is probably going to be moving up in a rather bullish direction to north of $50 per XRP. So I'm going to be going into that, and then I will close the video out on a different topic. I also want to talk a little bit about Facebook's coin and how the U.S. government wants it to not be a thing. So two different topics, but we're going to go into the exciting one that you clicked on this video for. So before we get going here, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and don't smash it, though, because you might break it. And frankly, only dorks smash the button. It's not cool, guys. Be a cool kid and tap it, all right? And I also want to send out a very sincere thank you. Guys, this is a real exciting day for me personally. Just hit 3,000 subscribers today. Coolest thing on the freaking planet to me, so I want to send out a very sincere and very humble thank you to everybody that's been so supportive, whether you've liked a video, subscribed, or even just watched a video. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Couldn't appreciate it more. And man, I tell you, just having started this channel just over 6 months ago, it's a hobby for me. It's fun. I'm an XRP enthusiast, and I never thought I'd get to this point. Wasn't even seeking to. So I know the channel's small, but to me it's gigantic because I never thought I'd get there. So just a real sincere thanks. But all right, let's get into the content now. This is a tweet from TradingView. And they tweeted out, Ripple XRP has a chance to rise above $50 a coin. Do you think it's real? The chart by @Cryptomaniac shows the XRP USD exchange rate might significantly change by the end of the year. Click the link for details. And so this Cryptomaniac guy, I just followed him prior to recording this video. I'm not familiar with him, but he looks like he's got quite a following, actually. So I'm going to listen to him, and we'll just see if what he has to say pans out here. But he has 6,668 followers. So let's get into his piece here, and he's got a chart demonstrating what he wrote about below. So let me just read this top part here with his explanation of why it's going to he believes it could at least go to $50 beyond. And then I'm going to tell you what I personally think about this. One last thing I do need to say before we go any further, since this video is largely about price, I want you guys to know, like, you should not at all get hyped by this and let this dictate whether you buy or sell anything. So, like, don't listen to this, get all hyped and buy XRP. And just to be really transparent about my background, I have no financial background. I am simply an XRP enthusiast. And to be honest, I enjoy following this type of content on my own. You know, I listen to other XRP YouTubers, and I love hearing theories about where price is, where it's going, this and that. I think it's a really fun topic. But and so that's why I'm happy to cover it as well. But my background, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but my background is primarily in outside sales work, to be perfectly honest. You know, I own a company that sells commodities, essentially, okay? So don't take buying or selling advice from me because I'm not offering advice. I just like to share the content with it. And again, I think this is just an exciting topic to talk about. And I'm just like you guys. I mean, okay, maybe I'm different in that I'm making YouTube videos and perhaps you're not, but I tell you, like, this is genuinely fascinating to me, and so we'll see where it goes. Because, you know, while $50 per XRP might sound outlandish to some, you know, there were people that said years ago that XRP would never break $1. Smashed through that, hit almost $4, didn't it? Yes. So I say don't rule out anything. And also from a technical perspective, people say, what's the most XRP could ever be priced at? Let me give you the technical answer. There is no limit. Why is there no limit? Well, the reason there's no limit is because XRP is worth whatever the open market decides that it's worth. Now, you can talk about what's likely to occur, because you could take any asset. I mean, heck, you could look at gold. What's it valued at? Somewhere around 1,400. You could say, well, gold could be worth $1 million then. Well, there's technically nothing there to stop it, and that's what I mean by it. It doesn't mean it's rational or likely it would hit, like gold would hit 1 million relative to 1,400. So conceptually, that's what I'm getting at here. So with that understanding, I think it is fun to break down, okay, given the actual environment, actual adoption as it occurs, and with speculators coming in the space, what is reasonable to predict? And so I'm going to talk about that, but again, first let me delve into what this guy's explanation is for why he believes that XRP is going to $50 here. All right? And he writes, this is a very interesting technical analysis if you take a few minutes to actually analyze it and determine some very similar movements / fractals from the last time we were writing on trend line to today. As of today, we are sitting on a 790 plus day support in a form of a trend line. Last time we had a similar trend line, it took just around 944 days before we saw an immense breakout occur. if we were to repeat the same exact pattern, we would be looking at December of 2019 for a similar breakout, but this time we will be going over $50 with a possible short-term pit stop at $5 to $15. And then he continues. Please do understand that if we put away fractals, we can expect a breakout anytime from now on. And since price is being artificially controlled at this time, there's no telling when exactly the wall between institutional side and retail side break. I'm also keen on pointing out that back from 2014 towards early 2017, we observed similar pattern where we had an exceptionally long support line and accumulation followed by over 80,000% uptrend from support line. All right, and so that's the rest of this. I don't really need to read through. He made his point just by the portion that I read to you. So you can see, and here's again the chart that he's talking about right up here. All right, okay, look, we got to acknowledge something first. Okay, XRP in terms of price action, it's going to move in tandem with Bitcoin, not to a T. It's not going to follow it exactly down to the second, the minute, the hour, the day, the week, or the month. But XRP is correlated to the price of Bitcoin. And so is every other altcoin for that matter. What's fascinating to me, though, is that in terms of XRP's price action, it is different than other altcoins in one notable way. Although XRP's price is correlated to Bitcoin, it trades within a narrow band of volatility for prolonged periods of time that you just don't see in other, especially the top cryptocurrencies. You just don't see that. And so the point I want to make there is that XRP, especially in terms of all the large cap coins, just say the top coins, even just say the top 10 coins, XRP is the least correlated asset to Bitcoin. And you might think that's a bad thing. With Bitcoin's going up, we want XRP to go up along with it, right? Exactly. Well, no, not exactly. This is a very immature market, and so the average investor, they believe that there may be something to this crypto thing, and that's why people are throwing their money in, but they're not yet ready to parse out exactly who the winners and losers are going to be. So the fact that XRP is in fact being treated differently by investors is a very bullish indicator, in my humble opinion. It just shows that people are factoring in real-world adoption, real-world utility, and they are treating it differently. And the typical XRP investor wants to hold on to it for quite a long time. I've seen, I don't have surveys at my hand here, but I've seen them, and relative to other cryptos, XRP speculators tend to have a much longer out-term view, especially when you consider how short-minded a lot of the price action is within the crypto asset class. And so what's actually going to happen here? Well, again, I don't make price predictions. That's not my thing. I'm not good at it. And if I made a price prediction, I mean, I'd be being disingenuous, and I don't want to do that. So I can tell you in terms of what's possible, what do I actually believe. I'm willing to share that with you without making a specific prediction, because I don't want to BS you guys. I'm just not going to do it. But look, like I said, there is no technical upper limit in terms of price. And I think that if you consider the fact that we're at, in terms of market cap, we're even at like 320 billion as I record this in terms of the entire asset class. Well, I think that there are going to be coins that will be valued, individual coins that will be valued in the trillions. I don't know how many winners and losers there are going to be, but I don't suspect that we're literally going to need the 2,000 plus cryptocurrencies that are in existence today to globally transform the way that people view money, especially in the way that Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned it, and also in the way that Ripple envisions it as far as using XRP as a bridge currency. I just don't think you need that many there. So there are going to be a handful of winners, and I'm looking for those coins that have the utility. And so you can imagine that, especially as institutional buyers jump in, and even if they want to be more cutting edge and they see that there's an opportunity for asymmetrical returns relative to other asset classes in which they're invested, it makes sense to delve into cryptocurrencies, and XRP being among the top, that should be in the basket of what cryptocurrencies institutions invest in. And we understand that institutions, they're doing more than dipping their toes in the water. We had reports earlier this year that the first public pension fund ever has actually invested in the actual cryptocurrency assets, and also blockchain companies at large. But a certain percentage of that money that they're investing also is going specifically to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. All right, and so with that being said, as real-world adoption takes hold, and the reason it'll take hold is people are going to understand as more time passes, hey, this thing isn't going away, and then more people will take notice and be like, okay, so this is an asset class that is actually here, and then you're going to see more retail speculators, yes, But you're going to see, perhaps in this bull run, something that is different, because last bull run you didn't really have so much institutional adoption, but this time you might. You really just might, and we're seeing institutions going that way. There are more custody solutions than there were. So the infrastructure relative to 2017 when we had the last bull run, it's just like night and day. It's crazy. And so you can imagine in a world where the institutions are putting, even if just a small, like say it's 0.5%, so that they're not really risking their constituents, money. Members would probably be better, but they're not risking their members' money. I guess constituents works too. Whatever. I just think politics when I hear constituents, though. But they're not. There's so great asymmetrical potential upturn reward as far as price goes. And you're not risking that much if it's only half a percent, and if you understand that the asset class is here to stay anyway. And so you can imagine, even if just 0.5% that institutions are putting on, and what's an institution? It's an entity that invests on behalf of its members. So it could be like I said, public pension fund, endowment fund, hedge funds. And so as more of this takes hold, even at just 0.5%, if every institution invested just that, you're talking about an absurd amount of money. And you're talking about trillions of dollars of value flowing in, even if just 0.5% or 1% or maybe a little bit more, maybe even upwards of 5% if somebody wants to get really risky, in air quotes there, because it still is just 5%. But when as that continues to develop, and I do firmly believe that's the direction we're going, that's where you're going to see a lot of opportunity for upward price move. And that's why when I say that I think it's possible for XRP to hit $50, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not willing to put a timestamp on it, though. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year or January. But I'm not ruling that out either. It really has more to do with the rate at which speculators come into the market. That does include, when I say that does include retail speculators. It also includes institutional speculators, because they're investing the money, but they're speculating nonetheless. It's just a big institution rather than an individual, and there's a lot more money associated with that typically. And those types of institutions, generally speaking, buy over the counter, so it doesn't immediately affect the market rate, but it does affect the supply of XRP. And what do we know about supply and demand? Okay, if XRP is taken out of available circulations and it's not on exchanges or not anywhere else and can't be sold to exchanges, that does affect the entire XRP ecosystem. And so that's kind of like big picture where I see all of this going. And so, look, I'm not going to rule out anything. I will say this: I'm not confident that it's going to hit $50 within this time frame, but I think it's possible. And I could be wrong. And so, I'm going to track what this guy continues to predict, because I'm just genuinely curious. And hopefully you guys find the topic fascinating too, because I always like looking into this type of stuff and hypothesizing about what's actually possible with the asset XRP, which is my favorite digital asset, the best digital asset in all the land, right? So that's what I think about it, though. So we will see. We'll see. I think that's about all I got for you on the price portion of XRP, but I do have one more price thing I want to share with you. I reported very recently that Anthony Pompliano, I'm sorry, it was not Anthony Pompliano. I'm sorry. He's in my next piece about Facebook. Mike Novogratz, he was interviewed the other day, and he's predicting that by the end of 2019, Bitcoin will hit $20,000. He said it'll happen mid Q4, maybe very end of the year, possibly. And so if that happens, I think that it would be likely that either shortly before or shortly after, I could definitely envision an XRP breakout happening. Only if you look historically, and I'm not going to make a prediction, but if you just look historically, one might reasonably assume that sometime around there it's going to happen. To what degree, I don't know price-wise what that means, but it could be a parabolic move upward. Again, just if you look historically, because it has these prolonged periods where it trades within a narrow bandwidth of volatility, and then it'll spike and it'll do what it does, and then it'll go back down, but then it'll go way back up, and it's just the nature of the volatility of this asset class. So that's what we're going to see. But anyway, if Novogratz is right, and if we do in fact hit that level in 2019, that's going to bode well for XRP, even if you don't see it moving right away. Because you can think back in 2017, Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $20,000 basically in the span of less than 12 months. And XRP didn't start moving its real parabolic shift up to almost $4. Didn't really happen until January. It didn't get all the way up there until January. Whereas Bitcoin, I don't remember the exact date, but it was like mid to, I don't know, it was the 20-something of December of 2017 when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So XRP It did move in a correlated fashion, but its parabolic move came after. It comes in short bursts. And so for me, that's why I wanted to make sure that I was accumulating during the bear market, which I chose to do. I thought that was the right thing for me. And that way I'm not going to miss out. So when the next parabolic run comes, which I'm fully confident will, not financial advice though, I'm just sharing my opinion with you. But I feel like when it comes, that way I'm ready. Because at some point I will want to take some profit, no doubt. And I'm sure that you listening to this are interested in that as well. So anyway, if you were just here for the price content of the video, that's all I have on that. I'm going to move on to another topic now. I hope that you stick around to listen, but I will not be offended if you click away to something else. But here we go. So there's a tweet from Anthony Pompliano, and he's one of the co-founders and partners of Morgan Creek Capital, and he tweeted this out. From late yesterday, I guess it was late in 5:05 p.m. yesterday. Members of Congress just sent this letter to Facebook asking them to officially stop development of Libra. And I'm just going to read a little snippet of this, really just this first paragraph here, because that's all you need to know about this, basically, as far as the content that they delivered. And it states, and this is to Mark Zuckerberg, Sheryl Sandberg, who is the chief operating officer of Facebook, and David Marcus, who is the chief executive officer. And he's also the guy that I think he definitely named Libra, and he may be like a co-creator or the actual creator. I can't remember if he's taking credit for that. But anyway, the letter states, "Dear Mr. Zuckerberg, Ms. Sandberg, and Mr. Marcus, we write to request that Facebook and its partners immediately agree to a moratorium on any movement forward on Libra, its proposed cryptocurrency, and Calibra, its proposed digital wallet. It appears that these products may lend themselves to an entirely new global financial system that is based out of Switzerland and intended to rival U.S. monetary policy and the dollar. This raises serious privacy, trading, national security, and monetary policy concerns for not only Facebook's over 2 billion users, but also for investors, consumers, and the broader global economy." And so that's why, like, when Anthony in this tweet, he wrote, "Wait till Congress finds out they can't send letters to Bitcoin." That kind of made me laugh. And so apparently they see this as a threat. And I suppose if you're part of the U.S. government, okay, we got the United States dollar here. I'm a United States citizen. I live in the Midwest. And, the United States dollar is the world's reserve currency. And maybe that has something to do with why the United States is slower to adopt cryptocurrencies. I don't know. Maybe it's just the opinion of the couple people that signed this. It was Maxine Waters and Representative Carolyn Maloney. And this is baloney. Maloney. Sorry, I'm being a dork. All right, anyway. So, as far as why this matters, here's the way I'm looking at this. As far as Libra's threat to the United States status, as far as the reserve currency, I don't see it taking over. I don't see it really threatening the monetary sovereignty of the United States. I just don't. The reason being is this is going to be another walled garden situation where there are a handful of players within this participating within this particular Libra ecosystem, and it's a stable coin that's backed by a basket of fiat currencies. And so you know what I'd say, you could say that there's overlap in use in terms of what's used to buy what, but consider that if Libra is in fact backed by the United States dollar, then it's tantamount to spending $1 if that's what you're using locally. It won't take the place of the spending of the dollar, and that's part of the reason that I think this fear is largely unfounded. I haven't heard a good case yet as to why they should really tap the brakes on launching this particular stable coin. I don't see a problem with it. I don't feel threatened by it. And also, since we're talking about XRP here, I don't think that XRP's use case as a bridge currency is really threatened by this in any meaning capacity. There can be a little bit of overlap in terms of usage, but understand that Ripple is building out enterprise solutions for banks, and it's going after a different audience. The people that are on Facebook that might potentially utilize LibraCoin it's not the same segment of customers that would be interested in moving money across borders per se. There can be some overlap, but it's different businesses. They just are, and so that's my 2 cents on that. Now that said, this Marcus guy, what's his first name? Yeah, David, right. So Facebook's David Marcus came out, and I'll just read the headline this is from CoinDesk. Facebook's David Marcus: Libra crypto users won't have to trust us. And so it's on Libra here. It's not about whether or not government should allow it to proceed, though. So, piece starts out stating, Facebook's David Marcus is pushing back against concerns about the social media giant's new cryptocurrency project, Libra. In a note published Wednesday on Facebook, Marcus addressed a number of questions and a few misunderstandings about the project. The social media giant's blockchain lead also confirmed he would be testifying before both the Senate Banking Committee and the House Finance Services Committee on the project later this month. In Wednesday's post, Marcus sought to address a number of issues that have been raised by the lawmakers and informed observers alike, including whether Libra is actually decentralized, why there isn't a charter in place for the Libra Association, and whether Libra can actually address financial inclusion. Perhaps most notably, he addressed the widespread distrust of Facebook in the wake of Cambridge Analytica 2016 election interference and other high-profile mishaps. And bottom line, you won't have to trust Facebook to get the benefit of Libra, Marcus wrote, adding, and here's a quote from David Marcus, and Facebook won't have any special responsibility over the Libra network, but we hope that people will respond favorably to the Calibra wallet made by Facebook. We've been clear about our approach to financial data separation, and we will live up to our commitments and work hard to deliver real utility. And so in terms of trust of Facebook, I'm happy to say that I stopped using Facebook a very, 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 very long time ago. I used it back when I was in college, and it was new back then. I think I joined like 2006, but so they got all sorts of my personal information from back in the day. I'm sure that they've collected just like they collect every other user's. But I genuinely don't have an interest, and I also don't trust them. I don't trust, and there's a reason not to. And that's not the purpose of this video, so I'm not going to delve into that. But if it's true that Facebook isn't in charge and in capacity as far as understanding your financial background to a particular degree, maybe it's okay. Frankly, there just aren't enough details, though, are there? Just the concept of Facebook and them having their own form of currency, even if it's just backed by a basket of fiat currencies. Like, it's not something that I personally want to jump on the bandwagon for. Like, for myself, I'm not interested. I'm not seeing a problem with it in terms of, like, should it be allowed? Well, I haven't seen a case, not even the case that Maxine Waters just laid out that I read to you in Anthony Pompliano's tweet. Like, there hasn't been a case made to me, to my satisfaction, that says, okay, we need to pause this and actually look into this further. Like, make the case if there is one, and then I'm happy to change my opinion, because I am always happy to change my opinion as I learn new facts, I always reserve the right to change opinion on pretty much anything as new facts become available to me on any topic, and I think that's a good way to live life in general. But right now, there's no reason to think that this is a threat to the monetary sovereignty of any particular nation. So that's my 2 cents. What do you think, though? Feel free to comment below on anything we talked about today or anything else. Hell, what'd you have for breakfast? You can tell me anything you want. I don't care. I'm happy to talk to you. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I appreciate it. But, I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Take care.